Hello, dear friends. Evidence is multiplying that proves the unthinkable by narrow minds. Every day, more official news comes out confirming that until recently was considered crazy. Since I was a child, I have been humiliated many times for talking about these issues naturally. And it turns out that now it is the scientists themselves who confirm their existence, although not without problems in their professional circles. Opinion articles. Oumuamua may be advanced technology, says Harvard chief astronomer. Moves too fast in a strange orbit. Another ship disappears in the Bermuda Triangle. Bill Gates wants to cover the sun with particles in the stratosphere. Georgia senators call on Pence to delay the January 6th vote. Earth reached 4 density 8 years ago, according to Matthew Ward. We are living the most dynamic time that have ever been experienced. Free will is the force that leads to the relationships full of joys and love. Let's start. There has been a lot of speculation about this strange asteroid, but this is the first time that the scientist says it is not of a natural origin. In my opinion, its elongated cigar shape denotes a reptilian origin. The name comes from the Hawaiian Oumuamua, which means explorer. The asteroid Oumuamua is in quotes, advanced alien technology, insists the chief Harvard astronomer. Avi Loeb laments that there are those who do not want to discuss the possibility of other civilizations and think that we are special and unique. The interstellar object Oumuamua, cited by scientists at a Hawaiian observatory in 2017, has been the first sign of intelligent life beyond Earth detected in our solar system. This is what Avi Loeb, director of the Department of Astronomy at Harvard University, says in his new book, Extraterrestrial: The First Sign of Intelligent Life Beyond Earth, which will be released later this month. A promotional summary of the work published by the publishing house Houghton Mifflin Harcourt recalls the author's main thesis, according to which the cosmic object was flying so fast through our inner solar system that it could only have come from another star. Loeb proved that this was not an asteroid, as it was moving too fast along a strange orbit and left no trace of gas or debris in its wake. The summary highlights. In this sense, he concludes that there was only one conceivable explanation, that the object is a piece of advanced technology created by a distant alien civilization. Lloyd admits that his theories have surprised astronomers, but he insists on his findings, speaking to the New York Post. The scientists indicate that some people do not want to discuss the possibility of other civilizations and think that we are special and unique. I think this is a prejudice that should be abandoned, he says. Discovery. It was discovered on a highly hyperbolic orbit by Robert Werik on October 19, 2017, which observations made by the Pan-STARRS telescope when the object was 30 million kilometers from Earth. Initially, it was thought that it was a comet, but when it was observed that it had no activity, it was reclassified as an asteroid a week later. Based on the first 2 weeks of observation, the orbital eccentricity was calculated to be the highest of any object observed so far in the solar system. However, this object obtained its high speed after a close encounter with Jupiter. The high eccentricity, together with its direction of origin, indicate that it has never been gravitationally bound to the solar system, and it is presumably an interstellar object. Astronomers estimate that each year several interstellar objects of extrasolar origin pass through the orbit of the Earth, and that another 10,000 pass within the orbit of Neptune constantly. If the estimate is correct, it could be possible that the studies of these bodies could be carried out in the future. However, with today's space technology and the higher speeds these objects reach, close-up views and orbital missions are a great challenge, although not impossible. Another disappearance in the triangle. A boat with 20 people disappears in the Bermuda Triangle, and the US suspend the search. The Coast Guard asks citizens to contact the 7th District Command Center with any information. A boat with 20 people on board that departed from the Bahamas on December 28th and should have arrived in Florida the next day is missing, but the Coast Guard reported last weekend that it suspended the search in the famous Triangle of the Bermudas. According to the official statement, it is a blue and white Mako cabin ship, 29 feet in length, which left the port of Bimini bound for the city of Lake Worth. After learning of the shipwreck, the agency began a search of some 17,000 square miles, which is twice the state of Massachusetts, for approximately 84 hours. In the previous hours, they published an image with the process of the task. In quotes, "Our thoughts and prayers go out to these families of the missing person," said Captain Stephen V. Badian, 7th District Chief of Response. In quotes, "I encourage anyone with information about the people on board to contact us as soon as possible," he said. At the end of the statement, the authorities made the telephone number of the command center available. In case someone has information about the lost boat, the number is 305-415-6800. Covering the sun. Bill Gates wants to cover the sun. The Simpsons predicted it. Another invention of the warmer. The idea is simple. Spray a bunch of particles into the stratosphere and they'll cool the planet by reflecting some of the sun's rays back into space. A Harvard University project plans to test a controversial theory that global warming can be stopped by spraying particles into the atmosphere that would reflect the sun's rays. The project represents one of the most controversial aspects of what is known as geoengineering, the idea that to address issues such as climate change, massive aspects of our ecosystem can be played or modified. In this case, it would involve reflecting some of the sun's rays to prevent them from reaching Earth. Outdoor research on spraying tiny particles that reflect the sun into the stratosphere to offset alleged global warming has been stalled for years by controversies, including that it could discourage necessary cuts in greenhouse gas emissions. In crescendo, to quote Coach Jerry, we have arrived. The crescendo is about to be played from January 6th to 17th. In fact, the entire United States will be elated, shaken and shocked by the reality we have known for years. The propaganda media will not be able to hide the facts. The coalition has orchestrated a beautiful geopolitical masterpiece far beyond anything we could have imagined. Now this cinematic symphony will soon be transformed into a military operations. Good wins. According to Don Carlos de Marbella, on Wednesday, January 6th, just before the Congress meeting at the Electoral College, the President's legal team would present documentation of foreign intervention in the elections and on arrest of prominent people. This is his summary. First, with the global readjustment of currencies and the world's currencies will be backed by gold. That means that each precious metal will eventually increase in value. Second, the President has received hundreds of death threats and $40 billion to put on his head to try to bribe him. Third, the UK, Australia, Spain, Mexico, New Zealand, Canada and Brazil have had a corrupt voting system for at least 15 years. Free will is the driving force. No, this is not correct. Fourth, during the past week, 5 Republican legislators have died suddenly. Why? Electoral vote count on January 6 is top of mind for Republicans. A crowd of hundreds of Georgia conservatives who gathered at Rock Springs Church Monday to hear a speech by Vice President Mike Pence served as a barometer. The mood of the Republican voters ahead the joint session of Congress on January 6th. On Wednesday, legislators will examine the votes of the Electoral College of each state. Georgia senators call on Pence to delay election vote January 6. Republican state senator in Georgia began pushing Monday to delay the counting of electoral votes on January 6th. At least a dozen have signed the letter to Vice President Mike Pence, asking him to officially delay the count, and the number continues to grow. There are about 16 or 18 of us who have signed this letter to the Vice President, asking him to delay the electoral votes for 10th to 12 days, unquote, said Senator Brandon Beach. More than 432,000 votes were eliminated in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania election data shows that more than that number of votes were taken from president in elections in at least 15 counties, according to an analysis by the Data Integrity Group. Thousands of votes decreased in various counties over several times intervals rather than increasing, as would be expected under normal circumstances. Short news. German vaccination policy fails. Germany experiences a shortage of inoculations, writes the German daily Die Welt. The failure of the government and in its policy is an unprecedented, according to senior editor Ulf Postschart. Argentina promulgates a new retirement law. The Argentine President Alberto Fernandez promulgated this Sunday the new law that modifies the formula for updating pensions by tying it to economic growth, which will allow to alleviate public accounts in the middle of negotiations with the International Monetary Fund, but took it as the basis of an economic policy that will seek the distribution of income to rebuild the economy in 2021. China drives an oil boom in South America. China's energy demand continues to grow despite of health crisis, and this is good news for several South American oil-producing nations, particularly Brazil and Argentina, writes the oil portal price. China is the world's largest importer of crude oil, has increased its imports by 9.5% from January to November 2020 compared to the same period last year. The top 5 supplies of crude into China during that period were Saudi Arabia, Russia, Iraq, Brazil, and Angola. Dangerous tourist destination in Uruguay. Unable to do tourism abroad, many Uruguayans deciding to visit an exploded corner of their beautiful country. This is how an old marble quarry became viral among young people as a tourist destination, even when it is a private property whose use as a spa can be deadly. Message from Matthew. Summary of Matthew's message through his mother Susie Ward, posted January 4th, 2021. Let's start. With loving greetings from all souls of this station, this is Matthew. Everything that has happened since late 2012, when the Earth left the last wisps of third density energy, has been the basis, one might say, for revelations to emerge this year. If you could see your world from our point of view, you would be amazed at the difference since Earth reached fourth density 8 years ago. Since that time, light has been growing steadily across the planet as sparks continue to shoot out like fireworks, and when we see the near future of Earth, she is positively radiant. The darkness that was killing the Earth less than a century ago is being completely replaced by light, the same powerful energy as love, and during your year 2021 you will see changes that have long been needed for civilization to move forward and flourish. Change will not come without resistance, especially in the US, where the Illuminati will motivate those who are uninformed to denounce the developments as political partisanship. They are not. Action in the coming weeks and months will end control of that secret society, which took over the government shortly after it was established by the nascent nation's founders. This task, which is not less than the transformation of the world, will not be accomplished in the blink of an eye. The Illuminates are tenacious bunch, and will not kindly retreat or easily given up their ill-gotten fortunes to raise the standard of living for billions and restore ecosystem that they themselves destroyed and then blamed us. However, the increasingly intense light is propping up a powerful international force of military troops, individuals in governments and the private sector, and extraterrestrial special forces who are united in one purpose: the total destruction of the illuminated empire. The dawn of enlightenment on Earth's near horizon, has risen from the ashes of ignorance and dark division. When clarity arises from confusion and resistance is resolved, peoples can advance in spiritual and conscious awareness. Not everyone will choose to do that, and this is relatively fine, because each soul chooses its own rate of growth. But for most of civilization will begin an exciting journey of remembrance as consciousness connects to soul-level knowledge. You will remember that each person is a divine sovereign being, an immortal soul created by and from the unconditional love of the Creator. You will remember your eternal connection to all other life forms on the planet and all other souls in this universe, that animals are souls too and are helping humankind learn to live in harmony with all nature. The peoples will discover their ability to communicate telepathically and other abilities that will allow them to co-create the golden age of Earth in its entirety. Now, a vibrant part of life in the golden age of the Earth will be free will, which is both a gift and a cosmic law decreed by the Creator. The birthing of each soul is the use of its energy to co-create what the soul desires. You can't get around that gift and that law, and you wouldn't want to. Free will is the driving force that leads to relationships filled with joy and love. Knowledge expanded through self-discovery and academic research, startups, adventure and exploration. Fresh ideas, experiment, innovation and breakthroughs. Free will to do what you choose is what makes any life exciting, satisfying and meaningful. And in the golden age, no one will want any more to suffer, much less to cause it. According to God, the Creator's expectation was that souls would want to use their energy to manifest joyful experiences for themselves and others. However, the Archangel Lucifer and some of his angelic followers used their free will to combine unrelated genetics material to produce monstrous beings. That was the entry of darkness into the cosmos. Later, some strong souls, Lucifer's fallen angels, one could say, who did not return to the light, with those who did, used their free will to manipulate the DNA of weaker souls to cause disease, aging, and loss of brain, power, and styled penchant and for cruelty between themselves and animals, their brothers and sisters in plural. We know that you have encountered obstacles, endured hardships, and periods of discouragement to help the peoples of Earth reach this moment in an unprecedented era in this universe. We know that many of you are tired and discouraged. Life in third density world can be very difficult under normal circumstances, and for almost a year normal has been turned upside down, so to speak. The current restrictions that affect lives and livelihoods will not become the new abnormality. As some authorities say, and with industry, ingenuity, and goodwill, the personal and national economy will recover. The increasing frequency will be its strong point, ally in change. Fear wakens the immune system, making people more vulnerable to all diseases. But of far greater importance to the dark ones is that the energy of fear is vital to their very existence, and the fear they counted on to increase is instead diminishing. Beloved family, you are living in the most dynamic time that an Earth civilization have ever experienced, and your steadfastness in the light has been invaluable in achieving this. All enlightened beings in this universe honor and support you with unconditional love. Thanks a lot, dear friends.